Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of Prodigy Presents the Lake Marshall Open. Thank you to our presenting sponsors of this coverage, Cosmic Disc Golf, D-Town Disc Golf, and Reaper Disc Supply. I'm Nathan Johnson, and today I'm joined in the booth by Dan Brooks-Wells. How's it going, Dan?
Going good, man. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right, we got an exciting one today. We got Cody Bradshaw from Virginia. We got Joseph Anderson from Georgia. We got Aidan Scott from Tennessee. And last but not least is Matt Hammersten, one of the locals here from Virginia as well.
Should be exciting. Jumping in right away to hole number one. It is a par 5, 970 feet. Pretty straight shot off the tee. Most good drives are going to land somewhere around here on this hill. Then after that, you have this second ditch that you have to go over with two OB kind of areas below it. A good second shot will land right around here. You might see some players, if they throw two really good shots, get down here for a long look at eagle. But either way, you just want to make sure to keep yourself safe in the fairway. That whole right side tends to be out of bounds.
And our featured card, first to tee, sponsored by the Shaws, Cody Bradshaw.
So guys, welcome to this monster of a course. Cody Bradshaw being a local, he's going to show us how it's done. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, both Cody and Matt are always at this property. Anytime there's a big event here, always looking to put a good round together. That's a great tee shot from him. A little probably right than he would have wanted, but definitely able to make
next
that
up
work.
from Team Castaplas, Joey Anderson.
Yeah, this tee shot is tricky because the landing zone is not very close, and you definitely don't want to leak left. So a lot of people end up pulling it to the right.
Nice little kiss there, kind of keeps him in the fairway. If you fade off left,
Sponsored by Prodigy Disc, Aidan Scott.
I'm not familiar with Aidan. I did see he had a pretty high rating. I'm looking to see some magic out of him this round.
Yeah, should be good. I mean, he put together a really nice finish at the Champions Cup, which is a very similar style course to here at Lake Marshall. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do. That's a great tee shot on hole one.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely perfect. He's going to have a nice
rounding out your feature card, sponsored by Prodigy Discs, Matt Hammersten.
Yeah, hammer.
Matt here, otherwise known as Robot. He is a technician.
Yeah, shredder in the woods. If you're a frequent watcher of HyzerMedia's coverage, you saw him take down an A-tier earlier this year at the White Rose Open. Looking to replicate that kind of performance here this weekend at Lake Marshall. That's a little overturned, but like we said, the right side is definitely more favorable off the tee than the left, so he'll be able to make that work.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. This is where it gets a little tricky. This is, I like to call it the pit of despair. He's basically laying up. He's laying up to his zone.
Yeah, because the first pit of despair is doable, right? You can kind of lay up to the top there, and he might even be able to get a long look at birdie after that. The second pit of despair is out of bounds, so you definitely don't want to get aggressive from inside that first pit, or you're going to get into some trouble.
Let's see if Cody's going for it.
Wow. What a line. That is, yeah, I personally would never go for a shot like that. That is all of 400 plus feet that he just did from an awkward lie to clear the second pit. And that's going to put him in a great position.
Hammer trying a similar route. Lets it fade a little bit too much, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, it's pretty far left once you get there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There's definitely quite a few kind of scattered trees on the left-hand side as you get up closer to the green, but it'll be scrambleable, I'm sure. This is pretty much ideal for the landing zone off the tee. Aidan's got a nice big gap. He's probably able to just throw a nice stable driver that kind of pushes straight. And then if this gets a little bit of finish at the end, that'll put him in a great spot. Kind of just hold straight.
Do you think he was in a position to maybe try and go for the eagle?
I think it's probably pushing 500 feet from where he is into the basket. I'm not sure what kind of distance Aidan has. That's a long shot for anybody, but I think he probably could have got an outside look if he got a full flight out of that.
So this is what you're usually going to see if you're out of position on the first shot. You're laying up to that first landing zone and then trying to pitch up to the next to get your par.
Yeah, hole one. I mean, this did play as the hardest hole, or excuse me, not the hardest hole, but it did. It does play as one of the harder holes on the course, especially when you get out of position. So yeah, a par to start off your day on hole one is nobody's going to be upset about that.
You can see Hammer's off here on the left side. He's probably going to take a tricky gap. It's not going to be as open.
Yeah, there's no big gaps over here on the left, but there are many gaps, and he found one of them. Real nice shot there to get himself up into circle one. That'll be a birdie putt. Great way to
Yeah,
start the day.
I think him being a local, he knows that back route. This is the open shot that you want. He's in a perfect position to just pitch up.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the textbook way to play the hole. Just two dead straight, 400-foot-ish shots, and then leaves yourself a nice chip into the basket. Joseph, after kind of a tough tee shot, played the hole really well himself, and that's going to be a stress-free par.
And stress. This is a stressful putt. This is a little bit more downhill, I think, than it looks, and he almost bangs it.
Yeah, you can see there is OB long of the basket, probably 25 to 30 feet deep. Definitely slopes away, so a little bit of a stressful putt there. Hammer, no stress at all. He eats 25 footers for breakfast, so that's a great birdie.
Hammer makes them look like they're 10.
Yeah. So nice par for Joey. Great birdie for Hammer. We're gonna have a couple more par tap-ins, and pretty well done from our feature card as a whole. Or sorry, I spoke too soon. Nice birdie from Aidan.
All right, hole 2. This is a par 3, 505 feet, sponsored by Reaper Disc Supply. This hole is one of the most fun holes to play. You can throw a putter, a mid-range, a driver, whatever you want. You just want to hit that center gap and then leak left. There are not many 500-foot par 3s, but this hole was designed perfectly.
Yeah, and not a lot of 500-foot par threes that your average player can reach with a mid-range. Aidan, a little early left, kicks him off to the right, which is a very fortunate kick. If you kick left off this tee shot, it is jail in there, and that's instant bogey at best.
You can hear Matt calling for the fade. It kind of does. What a shot.
Wow. Yeah, that was a nice kind of little kiss off the tree limb to get him moving to the left. I think that was a mid-range out of the hand, so, he's kind of just playing for the par, I think, to just throw something that he knows is going to go straight, hits that gap, lets the, glide of the disc take it down the hill, which I think is a pretty smart play. Cody's trying to do something similar.
Yeah, that was definitely a mid as well. I've seen a couple get down there inside the circle with a mid, but it's tough to time it out perfectly. Time that fade out perfectly.
Yeah, with how downhill the shot is, I think if you're going with a mid-range, it's a par play, just to try to hit the gap with something that is going to hold straight for most of the flight. I think you need to throw something a little faster if you want to get that fade back towards the basket at the end. And really try to go for the birdie. But this is the definition of a bonus birdie if I've ever seen one. So.
Oh yeah, no one's upset with the par here. He leaks it a little early, but if he gets a little help from the hill, that's going to be a tester.
Yeah, it's downhill. 40-footer is not the putt you want for a par. He's probably going to have to run it, but we'll see. And this is that left side we were talking about. It's still even on the edge of the left side, and it's just absolute jail. He's probably going forehand turnover, super technical line, and yeah, just kind of burns it over there, coming up a bit short.
So if you get down far enough, the right side is kind of open. That's where Cody got to, and just a nice chip up.
Yeah, I think it could have looked like he was about pin high, just basically straight off the tee instead of getting that finish to the left. So it's a pretty common landing zone you'll see for people if you kind of pure the tee shot and don't get that fade you're looking for. So this is a long look from Joseph for the par. Really good effort.
Yeah, good run. Did you end up throwing a fairway trying to get the two?
Yeah, I like kind of a straight to stable fairway driver. I throw like an onyx, just throw it flat and hope that it kind of bites at the end. But it's such a demanding tee shot. Um, really, really tough two to pick up. But Hammer is last chance on the card, kind of with an outside look there, downhill. Doesn't quite commit to it.
This is a definite run, but also a little bit of a death putt.
Good effort off the band.
Yeah, it was a good confident stroke, you know. You can't be too upset.
Yep, nice stroke there from Joseph. Cleans up the bogey, so a couple bogeys, couple pars, pretty typical result for the difficult hole too. Jump into hole 3. We just threw down the hill by probably 50 feet. Now we're going to go right back up it. This tee shot, you're just looking to throw something as straight up this hill as possible. Good tee shots will land somewhere before those 2 trees we just saw. And then most players, I think, are going to, if you have it, throw a forehand into the screen as the hill kind of slopes down from right to left. But anything that can kind of work your way up there for a putt, you will be very happy with.
Yeah, this is a good example of a hole. If you have the power to reach the very top. Oh no, that's a rough kick. If you have the power to reach the top, this hole becomes way easier. It's that like extra 50 feet to get yourself to the top, but the approach shots become tricky if you're not able to.
Yeah, it makes the footing especially, and just the lines get a lot tighter if you're not able to get to this last. You can kind of see it from the tee cam, and we'll show it back here in a second. That was a great tee shot from Cody. You can see that last tree that's kind of in the middle in the sun. That's a great landing zone. If you can get there, which probably plays at least 400 feet of power up this hill, that is really ideal.
You see him yanking on that when he's trying to get all the power into it and just kind of overcooks it. And that tree gets hit a lot.
Yeah, and it is punishing. This is one of those holes that if you hit that tree, a lot of times your disc will either roll or fly backwards into this rough at the bottom of the hill, and it's almost just a pitch out from there. Such a difficult scramble if you hit early on this hole, just because of how much distance you still have to bite off to get all the way up to the top of the hill.
Yeah, not to mention the tree coverage that you got to get through, like Matt's dealing with.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some sort of forehand to try to pitch out back up the hill. We'll see where that ended up. And yeah, this is the other side of the rough, equally as difficult. Just kind of a standstill there for Aidan, pitching himself back out into the fairway.
Aidan will have a lane to try and save his par. That's a pretty good upshot.
So here's where Hammer pitched out to. Still, man, puts a really good move on this from where he was. Give himself a long look. That was a really great shot. Still being kind of maybe 2/3 of the way to 3/4 of the way up the hill. These were both these guys. Aidan's in a pretty manageable spot now as well.
Good shot.
That was good. I feel like he might have, you know, he might have should have gone with a faster disc to get a little bit more distance up that hill. But it'll give him a putt.
Yeah, this is one of those upshots that it's tough to go long. You know, it's never a bad idea to just disc up to make sure you get yourself there. One, there's so many trees up near the green, like Joey just hit right there. You're likely to hit something, and if you don't, it's such a long uphill shot that there's no reason not to just kind of blast something up there.
Yeah, and something we forgot to mention is it does drop off on the left side of the basket. So if you get too far left, there's a big slope there.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think Cody opted for the forehand to kind of fade to the right away from that slope, but unfortunately came up quite a bit short. I would be surprised if he ran this putt.
A little floaty bid. All right, Cody.
Not a bad effort. Very safe, though. Make sure not to go long of that basket and find the slope that you mentioned.
Oh no, the hill's taking it. Oh, that's the hill.
That is a brutal roll, but like we said, it's in the back of your mind when you're throwing that putt. You know, if you hit metal and don't find the chains. Wow, what a par save from Aidan from the bottom of the hill. But yeah, if you hit metal and it's not in the basket, there's a good chance your disc is rolling down that hill.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not, he's even got a tricky upshot. It's not even a putt back at it.
Yeah, just a kind of forehand pitch out there. But yeah, I know. I want to, again, Aidan, that par save was incredible. Like, the bottom of that hill is brutal, and to throw it up most of the way, and then that upshot from where he was at was really well done.
Some nice pars and a little bit of bad luck for Matt with the double. Here we are at hole 4. It's a par 4, 667 feet, sponsored by Upshot. This is basically a tunnel right off the bat, playing to a nice landing zone right where the drone is here, and then you have another gap to hit. If you're righty, backhand hyzer works, and you don't want to go too far past the basket. As you can see, it slopes. So off the tee, you can throw mid, you can throw fairway. You really just need to get through this gap and straight.
Yeah, straight or right are the preferred ways to finish on this tee shot. If you start to fade out to the left, it can kind of pinch you off for that second shot if you don't bite off enough distance. But priority 1, hit the gap, get yourself up there, and looks pretty textbook from Joey.
Perfect. Yeah.
There's that one tree that's just like kind of leans into the weirdly shaped tree that leans into the fairway. Gets in a lot of people's heads, kind of causes you to pull them like Cody does here.
Just like that, yeah. It's almost like it makes you want to throw something on a hyzer to avoid it with that angle, but it makes you pull it. I think he got through, though. Did he get through?
Looks like he got through, yeah. Pretty fortunate break if he did. I think I've seen a lot of people throw the forehand off the tee too here because of that limb. You can kind of sneak a flex forehand through, make the gap a little bit bigger, but so far, all backhands for our group. Maybe another lucky break there from Aidan to kind of get a little sneaky through the end.
That was a lot higher than I'm used to seeing on this hole, but flipped up nice and seemed to finish left. I expect Hammer to be throwing a mid here. I could be wrong. No, it's a driver.
Yeah, it might be a fairway driver. You'd be surprised. I don't think a lot of people are going to throw a distance driver off this tee shot here because there is OB if you do push it too straight off the tee.
Yeah.
Not a common thing, but there's no reason to try to bite off a ton of distance. It's more just about hitting the gap, going straight to put yourself in a position where you can throw your upshot in.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cody seemed to get through, but he was a little short. You can see it even lessened his... Oh no. Stick, don't roll.
Good par.
Okay. Yeah, you wanted to get up a little bit further than what he was at.
Yeah, I think he swung that one a little wide. When the camera pans here in a second, as we watch Joey's upshot, you'll see there's like 2 bushes. If you kind of throw over both of them, that usually means your disc is on a pretty good line to fade back in towards the basket. But Hammer looks like he got a little too close to him. Might have a little tricky line here.
Probably not a problem for him.
He just always looks so in control, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It's just very, very methodical, very, like you said, robotic.
Robotic.
Always cool to watch.
He scans his environment and then he attacks.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
The Terminator. All right, Aidan Scott. Last of the upshots coming in. Looks like a great line for him. Leaves it a little long, but have a birdie putt nonetheless.
Everybody seems to be in the circle. Let's see if Cody can finish this up with a par. Yes, sir.
Hit the ball.
Hit the pole, yeah, doing our job for us. Cody's always such a fun guy to have on the card. Always has
He
good
really is.
energy, good vibes.
Yeah. Good bird.
Nice putt there from Aidan. Gets himself under par again.
This is a hole, if you do hit that tee shot and you get to the landing zone, you're pretty much expecting a birdie out of it. I think a lot of this hole is just the tee shot.
Yeah, it's a stressful tee shot, but not the most challenging, but definitely punishing if you are not able to execute.
Good 3 hammer. Beautiful upshot.
Hammer drops in the birdie. We head on to hole 5, par 4, 636 feet. This is actually a new tee position if you watch the coverage of the Lake Marshall Open when it was a Pro Tour Silver Series in the fall. Plays a little bit longer. They moved it down the hill, so the tee shot is now going to kind of be a hyzer that pushes into the gap, and then it leaves a lot longer uphill upshot. They also moved the basket a little bit closer as well. So this hole in the fall played as one of the easier holes on the course, now much trickier. Also worth mentioning that the right side rough is out of bounds now.
I was wondering how this tee pad was going to switch it. When I was here for the match play, we played the shorter tee pad. The longer one wasn't ready, and I was interested to see how it plays. So it's definitely playing a little bit harder, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this tee shot is now significantly uphill. So the best shots are probably clearing the road and pushing into those trees, but you're not really seeing people push through the gap as much. It's more you're landing in this kind of grove, and then you kind of got to make something work from there.
He seemed to push through pretty good. I think that was a pretty good tee shot right there.
Yeah, it was a great shot from Aidan. That's probably about as good as you'll see, just because of the shape of this too. You know, you can't really. I don't know if we would see anybody throwing like a hyzer flip to turn shot. It just doesn't really quite shape for that. So you kind of just throw like a soft hyzer, like Hammer's doing here. Come on, it's gonna fade, right? Ooh,
Just in time.
Yeah, a little close there to that OB. But
Wasn't worried.
You heard that, never a doubt.
Tree that's in the Adabel.
they don't even need us. They should
I know.
just mic'd up Cody and Hammer for this round, and we wouldn't even need us in the booth. But
Pretty much. Probably get a lot more laughs out of it.
That dude.
this is definitely left. There is OB over there too. I feel like it's tough to reach off the tee.
We
That
saw
looks like a
thumbs
thumbs
up.
up. Ooh, yeah, pretty close. Yeah, I didn't expect to see anybody this close to the left side off the tee just because of how far uphill it is. Kind of tough to reach, but this is playing probably close to 400 feet into the green from here. He's got to pick a gap and just send it.
Hmm.
You got that?
Catches a late tree there. Those little trees that have been planted are right about 50 feet, I would say, somewhere around Circle 2's edge, maybe 60. So just to give you an indicator of where Cody landed.
Seems like an overstable S play.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that works.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little short as
Tester.
well. Yeah, the way the trees are on this fairway kind of shapes. The biggest gaps are forehand gaps. So you're going to see a lot of forehands into the green if a player has it. As you can see here, Hammer's got that wide gap that he can kind of push something straight, have it fade back. Doesn't quite have the distance from down there lower on the hill, but great idea.
Yeah, being on that right side, it just makes the uphill that much more.
And yeah, after a pretty much a perfect drive, this one just comes out a little low for Aidan. You saw the gap he was lining up, definitely was there, but just didn't quite have the height.
Yeah, he's definitely not happy about that one, but nothing you can do now. Just step up to the next one and make it a drop in. Ooh, or make it. Try to make it.
Yeah, gave it a little bit of a bid there. Goes a little bit deep. The winds were kind of swirling on this Friday. Not the most consistent. Kind of opposite of what you will normally see. We'll talk about that when we get out into the holes around the lake, but not too bad up in this area by the parking lot. Joseph's got the last chance at birdie here.
Yeah, see if we can get a little highlight putt here.
Oh, wow. Great effort. Just off the top of the cage. Now Aidan's got a bit of a comebacker.
There we go. After almost trying to dunk it in for a birdie, that's a good comeback putt for sure.
Yeah, definitely got to make those scary little 20-footers. Especially at a course like this, you know. You're going to have a lot of those 20-20. Oh, Wes Joseph just a little high there. You're going to have a lot of those tester putts for par, especially when you're a little off the tee or maybe a little off on your approaches. Your score can leak pretty quickly if you're not focused and dialed in on the greens.
Yeah, strokes are precious out here. You know, this isn't an easy course, and every little putt on the green matters.
For sure.
All right, hole 6, sponsored by Jersey Discs. This is another par 5, 906 feet. You can see that it's a tunnel, and more of a tunnel, and then a little bit more of a tunnel. Land in the middle. If you don't, probably pitch into the middle. This is a absolutely very fun hole. There's OB all on the left side, and there's basically natural OB on the right side.
It's such a good hole. Like, it's one of those holes you could literally throw the same. Like, you could just take your favorite straight mid-range, throw it 3 times, in theory, and get a birdie.
Yeah.
But, like, it never happens that way.
No. No. Maybe Aidan here, he'll show us how to do it.
I mean, that's the first step, right?
Yeah.
300 feet, dead straight, put it in the middle.
Absolutely. And I would argue that's the easiest of the first 3. I don't want to take anything away from it, but the next 2 shots, let's see if you can finish it up. Is Hammer here going with a mid, or is this his fairway?
I think that's a mid-range. I think that's like a M4. I don't know Hammer's bag too well, but that looks, well, it did get a little bit of a skip. Hard to say. He did throw it on quite a bit of hyzer though. Yeah, that's kind of the common, it's not a miss really, but just result, right? Like a lot of people are going to throw something a little more on the stable side, and it's just going to kind of leak into those left side trees, which just makes your second shot annoying. You know, you can't really bite off as much as you would like on the second, and it leaves you typically a lot more on the third.
Good kick. Or lack of kick.
Yeah, good sit from the disc there to stay in the middle. If he kicks right, that's going to be probably a pitch out. So, good break.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, early.
I almost got the.
Hey, we'll take fairway, you know.
Yeah, I have seen people in much worse spots after the tee shot here. So our feature card, although I'm sure less than ideal shots than they would have liked, still very doable.
See, he kind of had like an awkward plant foot there with the gravel going up, but what a great shot.
Thanks.
Really nice recovery. Honestly, maybe birdieable from there. He's probably pushing 400 in. Depends how aggressive he wants to get, but really nice shot to put himself back in position.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Cody using the entire 20-foot width of the fairway.
I thought I could throw it past the camera,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Didn't quite turn the catch cam that time, but still a really nice shot. You can kind of hear some of that wind ripping through this tunnel. Hammer's got to go with a kind of hyzer flip. Mid-range shot right there. Really nicely done. Finds a nice little kind of bubble on the left side of the fairway.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, Dan. Danny boy.
These guys are making this hole look way too easy. Like, how has nobody had to throw a weird step out forehand yet? Like, you see so many of those on this hole. And they're just throwing backhand mid-ranges like it's nobody's business. What the heck? I'm so
They
jealous.
see a gap, they hit a gap. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Joey came up a little shorter than we thought, so he's kind of just playing for par from there. Let's see, Cody's probably pushing 300, maybe a little more into the green from here, but just absolutely pures it.
I mean, what?
What is happening? I guess these guys are on feature card for a reason, right?
Yeah, I mean, he hit a tree though, right? Like he hit a tree and didn't get full flight out of his first shot. Now he's putting for birdie.
Wild. I mean, that's pretty textbook again from Aidan.
Yep.
Went mid-range putter, it looks like, and puts himself a little long. 20-footer coming back. I'm sure he is not upset with that at all.
Hammer with a similar line here.
Yeah, a little on the left, so he's got to kind of throw that similar Hyzer flipping mid-range.
Ooh.
Oh, and gets a perfect little anti-skip. Wow. I guarantee you there was no other card in this tournament that played this hole this clean. Like, there's no chance.
I don't think so.
Like, we got 3 birdie putts and a tap-in par. Like, you just don't see that on hole 6.
Everyone just did what you told them to do. Mid-range, mid-range, mid-range.
Yeah, it's easy, right? I guess.
Yeah. I mean, 1,000 rated caddy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm for hire. Let me know. Anybody out there watching? All right, let's see. Aidan's gone a little long. Looks like he's got a little headwind. Typically comes off the parking lot. Definitely not an easy putt. Yep.
Nice.
Good commitment there. High in the chains. Little nose up spinner.
There you go.
3 under for the card.
Well, don't.
Nope, not yet.
All right.
Okay, now it's
All
3
right.
under.
All right.
There we go. Didn't want to jinx
3
it.
under. Definitely not played better.
Hole 7. It's right there. 382 feet. The scariest shot you will throw on this course. Although today, if I remember correctly, for when I played the hole, it was almost dead calm, which is wild for this hole because you almost always have a headwind ripping through this gap to make this hole even more scary. But yeah, pretty calm. So these guys probably just going to throw backhand putter kind of straight at it, whatever your straightest disc is. Way easier said than done.
Absolutely. And this is the play, to have it leak right if you're throwing the backhand shot. And it's a little bit too far up there, but if you hit the hill at the right angle, it kind of just like skims down. I honestly think that the play is a forehand, and Hammer's going to show us how it's done. Something overstable, whatever 9-speed overstable disc you got, put it out to the left and trust it.
Yeah, I like the forehand for the safe play for sure. It's hard to commit to the pure line because you really caught a late tree that could be close to the OB line, but it's hard to commit because you really got to put it out over the water and trust that it'll fade back. You'll see a lot of people do what Hammer did, and just the kind of disc just fades out early right, and you kind of have to scramble from there. But see if Cody can make the adjustment.
He seemed to. That looked like a good angle out of the hand. Yeah, very nice. A little short.
Comes up, a little short. It'll be kind of a scary putt. The basket's pretty close to the water there, but I'm sure he's happy with that shot.
Oh no. It's got to flip. Yeah.
Just faded out the whole way. He's going to have to go to the drop zone from there.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Hammer was inbounds, or is he putting from the drop zone as well?
I think he's inbounds. I think it just happened to land by the drop zone.
Yeah, I mean, that whole area over to the right of the basket is inbounds. And it's a very common collection area, so it's a very likely possibility. That's a bold run, but is able to stick it close.
And this is definitely a tester putt. You know, with his Hyzer putt, if it leaks left, it could go OB. Oh, yes.
Nice putt from Cody there. Snag the birdie. This is that typical Instagram hole, you know. Come to Lake Marshall, post a video of yourself throwing hole 7 on your story.
Post yourself losing a disc or two. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Either result, definitely noteworthy. Aidan off the band there for his birdie putt.
Quick shout out to whoever goes and dives for these discs, because there's always a stack of lost discs that divers go out and get on this hole, and you'll see the next hole and a bunch of other water holes.
Yeah, a lot of water holes here at the Lions course. But yeah, like you said, they do a really great job of getting discs back to people. So always impressive.
I got a disc this past year that I lost, I think, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, if you thought last hole wasn't hard, welcome to hole 8. This is a par 4. It is a double peninsula, 554 feet, sponsored by Treemagnets. You got to hit this first peninsula, land safe, and then you got to hit this next peninsula and land safe. Another awesome, well-designed hole, but just it will lose your disc. I mean, if you don't throw a good shot, the disc is gone. So
Yep.
the play here is you want to land to the left of that short basket. If you don't, then you pretty much are pitching up on the hill. Or you try to land on the hill.
I think on the hill, I don't know. I think the ideal landing zone is like off the water by 1 foot on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But that's so much easier said than done because you can't. The problem is if you land near that short basket, you can't see anything because the hill is right in front of you. So it's so hard to throw your second shot if you're not at least some distance up the hill or to the left. Like from where Aidan is, I don't know what he does from there. He might have to lay up.
I feel like you're going to have to lay up. I just think it's too risky, but, you know, maybe not for Aidan.
Yeah, I guess you could throw like a turn, because you can't really throw a forehand because that hill's like right in front of you. So you'd probably have to throw like that high turnover backhand line. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Oh, that was maybe a good kick, maybe a terrible kick.
If that's like really safe, that is such a good spot.
It's just a Cody.
Again, Cody's doing our job for us. He's exactly right. That was almost that was going to be layup territory, right? If Hammer just goes into those woods, like he can't do anything from there. But
Like-
now that he's
like-
on the edge, might be good.
Yeah, like a tough layup if he goes way to the right. And this, I like this play because now he has a look at the other peninsula. He can throw a forehand in.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. But it's such a small, tiny landing zone to land right where he did, and sometimes you'll see it hit a root and literally roll out of bounds. So it's like, is it even worth it?
That's a good question.
So this
This needs
completely
to turn.
blind for Hammer. Like he's just throwing into the sky, hoping he picked the right disc, and he did.
Wow.
That's such a good shot. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Guys, I know it looks good, but it's better than what you think.
And Aidan's going for it. This is such a bold shot too, to throw this backhand turnover blind. And he sticks it.
Did it stick? Because it could hit that hill and just roll out.
Yeah, this is another basket that's on a cliff. You're going to see it when we get up there. So again, this is another spot that a lot of discs will just hit that hill and roll straight out of bounds. Cody's going for it too. Man, these guys are just...
I think they're just feeding off each other. They're like, oh, you went for it? I'm going for it.
Yeah, once one guy sticks it, you can't lay up after that, right? Like you just got to send it. Yeah, I mean, there you go. He can see the basket. This is the ideal drive. He can chip another forehand. Still a super technical, tricky landing spot, but much less stressful. That's the play, right? Put it to the bottom of the hill. He's got a 25-footer going straight up at the basket.
Yeah, you definitely want to land below the basket if you're not like right next to it because it's a legit death putt if you're on top of the hill.
Okay, so somebody's
Somebody-
close. Yeah, so they don't have like string down at the
Yeah.
water. They just have these white stakes every maybe 10 or 15 feet. So there are times you can be dry and your disc is actually out of bounds because it's on the other side of the stakes.
Okay, that's a good sit. I don't know if I like that, but you know, it's up to the tournament director.
Oh,
That was a spit.
tough spit out there. Yeah, low right on Prodigy baskets typically does not catch very well. But luckily it did stay close by.
Oh, what a birdie!
Wow, Aidan got that close off his second shot. That's wild.
Yeah, we couldn't see it land. I didn't know if it was high enough to get on top of the hill, but obviously it was
a little tight
it
for
was
you?
perfect.
I guess you come like inside.
Yeah, so everybody landed safe after those, kind of questionable drives. And a couple tough putts, but pretty well done by the card. As we head into hole 9, very similar hole to hole 4. We got this uphill tee shot. If anything, I think it's better to finish on the right-hand side because then you can see this tunnel, which kind of goes straight towards the basket, probably another 300-ish feet if you throw a good shot off the tee. If you fade out left, there's not really a gap there unless you go like way up the hill, past those initial trees. Kind of hard to explain. We'll kind of see after these guys' tee shots what they have, but go off the tee, just get it up this hill as far as you can.
Yeah, it's got a similar feel of a tee shot to hole, what was that, hole 3, way uphill?
Oh yes, hole 3. Sorry, I said 4, but yeah, you're right. I think that was good from Aidan, but I don't know. He might be too far left. Like it might be tough to swing another Hyzer back towards the basket. We'll see when we get up there.
Yeah, and I think Cody was trying to correct off of that on the right side. You hear him? Yeah, he said he actually might like that. I guess the mistake is to be a little bit more right.
Yeah, a lot of the times you'll see, you won't be able to see where the disc finishes if you turn something over up this hill, but there's not a lot of trees up on the right-hand side, and it's open towards the green. So if you stay on top, like Hammer is doing here, he can't see that disc, but that's a really great spot.
Oh, he's just nestles right behind that tree.
Yeah. But this is a hole, I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't want to jinx Joey here, but if you don't hit this gap up this hill, it is absolutely brutal on both sides of this fairway. It is such a steep downslope with thick rough. It's you need to hit this gap off the tee if you want a par.
Just more pits of despair as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But well done from the card, 4 for 4. So here's this left kind of Hyzer tunnely second shot. Leaks a little right for Joseph. He's gonna have a long birdie putt.
I would think this is one of the. I know none of them are easy, but this is one of the easier ones on the course. If you hit, I mean, again, it's all about that tee shot. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because if you hit the tee shot well and you get up to the top, you're going to have some sort of gap from inside of 300 feet to get up and down, which I think for all these players is something that they're going to be doing, most of the time. So, yeah, see, Aidan kind of had a weird flex forehand line he had to go for.
Yeah.
He just went too far off the tee.
Yeah, definitely, and you're trying, like you said, you're trying to smash it up there, so you're not really concerned about going too far.
So here's Hammer. This is unfortunately behind the tree, but kind of has a nice little step out forehand, huge gap really to hit, and that's really well done.
That'll be an easy cleanup for him. And is this Cody's drive?
I think it is.
Yeah,
that's way up there.
Yeah.
He was right. He had like 200 feet in. Wow.
He was right. He definitely liked that.
So Aidan came up a little short. Yep, he's got a long look here. Just a little off.
Another long look to get Joseph back to even.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. It's been a little off on the front 9. There's a long look for the par net. Oh man, just off the cage.
A little off at this course can mean big punishment, and not that being over par is the worst thing here. Obviously, you just want to be a few under.
Yeah, the birdies are definitely there. It's not. I would say if you can throw 400 feet, like hand throw, nothing crazy, you can score out here. It's not a bomber course, although the distance definitely makes a lot of these par 4s and 5s much easier if you're able to stay in the fairway while biting off larger chunks.
Here's Hammer to get a stroke back on Aidan and Cody.
Yeah, nice front 9s from these guys. 2 under, 3 under, 2 under. Joseph obviously got a little work to do on the back, but plenty of scoring out there for these guys to get back in it. It's a tough course,
It is, and you guys are about to see some tough holes on the back 9 as well, but beautiful, beautiful holes to come.
For sure. Thank you to the Norse gods and the Patreon family for making this coverage possible. like Dan said, don't go far. We got the back nine coming right up. Plenty of more disc golf coming your way.